Hey everyone, welcome to the first ever Darksliders weekly news update. This is something new that we're going to start doing. We're going to put up our entire news segment first thing in the week, so on Monday, or Tuesday in this case, just so you can hear all that right away. We're going to post all the rest of our content in shorter chunks throughout the week, and then now our full episode is going to be released later on in the week, probably on Friday. We're going to try this, see how it goes, just kind of trying to change some things up here. But we'll get into our first ever news short podcast, talking a little bit about what this has been like post E3, where the whole video game industry just seems like they're kind of taking a break.
Speaking of taking a break, Bethesda has decided that they're probably not going to have a conference next year.
Yeah, which I don't feel like anybody's surprised by this.
No, I think they'll have they'll probably have one like once they're ready to announce whatever the new Elder Scrolls is. But yeah, I mean, like the conference they had was really sparse.
Yeah, we talked about this last week. There were like 3 games there, and
Hmm.
I think one of the quotes that I don't remember who it was that they were interviewing said was, "It just kind of everything kind of aligned that we had all this stuff to show." 'Cause, I mean,
Yeah.
Bethesda is traditionally the, middle of the conference.
Hmm.
Phil Spencer brings them out on stage to talk about the new whatever game, and they just
Hmm.
kind of hype up the Xbox or Sony conference. But yeah, I don't think anybody's surprised by this. Their conference was good.
Yeah. But it was just 2 games. Like it was like two and a
Dishonored.
half games. Yeah,
Yeah,
but Dishonored was like we're working on it, not like they actually had anything to show.
that's true. Yeah. So
Um,
yeah, I don't think anybody's really super bummed about this. I think it's just kind of a
mhm.
we all know.
Yeah, I mean, I think like the only games they really have after this that they're going to be able to show is going to be I guess does Mikami still work for them? Mikami did Evil Within. I know it's a Bethesda game,
I
but
don't
basically
know off the top of my
they
head.
got him in Machine Gun Games, and
Yeah,
like I'm sure whatever they're working on is still pretty early because they both sort of released a game semi recently, like Evil Within and Wolfenstein, so they got a
we're
while
both
before
last
they
year. Yeah.
start.
Well, and
Yeah.
the thing too is both these games will be out by next E3.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So like, basically, yeah, you've got whatever Machine Gun Games is working on, and that's not enough to fill a press conference.
No, and I'm sure. I mean, as much as I like, actually really do appreciate Machine Gun Games, I can't imagine it's not going to be Fallout or Doom caliber.
No. Oh no, not at all.
Yeah. And some of the stuff we kind of missed at E3, actually missed a lot of stuff. But this is kind of like one of the major games we sort of didn't really talk about was Transformer Devastation,
Oh
which is a
yeah.
cool name for a Transformers game. Um, so I'm actually not a Transformers fan. I'm a Beast Wars fan.
That's kind of the same thing, just 10 years later.
Yeah, more like I think more like 20 years. I don't know how old
Well,
the.
G1 was in the 80s, and Beast Wars was mid 90s. I want to say late
Oh,
90s.
yeah, I guess that's true.
So I think maybe 10, maybe 15 years. I don't know exactly when
Hmm.
Transformers was in the 80s off the top of my head, but
Yeah.
yeah, I'm excited about this. This game looks awesome. But anyway, I wanted to talk about this last week on our E3 podcast, but it didn't really come up at any of the conferences. It was just kind of almost a throwaway announcement kind of on the side there that just, oh yeah, Platinum Games is working on a Transformers game, which to me is huge, but maybe
Hmm.
it's not as big as I like to think it is.
I think this is cool because it's a niche game. It's really niche. I mean, Transformers is like I mean a lot of kids like Transformers, but it's G1
I
Transformers.
say, but not this Transformers. This isn't
Yeah.
Transformers the movie tie-in. This is Transformers the '80s cartoon tie-in to the point where they even have the same voice actors from the '80s cartoon characters.
Yeah, no, I thought that was pretty cool. I like that, and I thought it was kind of cool. That's also like an Activision game. Like
Yeah.
Activision is doing it. I mean, they also did Legend of Korra with Platinum. That's why I'm a little hesitant on this game as well. But it's kind of neat that Activision is like kind of finding it's like, oh, well, there's these niche audiences that don't have games yet, or they haven't gotten a
Hmm.
good game in a while. And I don't think there's actually. I can't even remember the last time there's been a G1 Transformers game. It's been a long ass time.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, because the last series was the High Moon Studios, which or series, which was uh, War for Cybertron and Fall of Cybertron, which were great games. I loved both those games.
mhm.
But those didn't necessarily tie in with anything. That was more of just a Transformers story, kind of told around their own ideas. So,
Yeah. This one I've heard is kind of like that too. Like it's heavily inspired by G1 and
yeah,
uses a lot of the same art stuff, but I've heard it's like they're like trying to separate themselves a little bit. That they're more inspired by the comics rather than the actual cartoon.
which is fine with me because I don't know. I don't. I like the art. The art style is reminiscent of the cartoons. The voice actors are from the cartoons.
Hmm.
Do whatever else you want from wherever else you want story wise. I don't think anybody is sitting here going, man, G1 Transformers had just this deep, engaging story.
Oh, there's a lot of people who say that.
Oh, well, I'll cut that part out.
No, it's just like I don't know. It's a lot of the '80s cartoons. I think people read a little bit too much into them.
Oh yeah,
Maybe I will cut that part out.
yeah, probably. That sounds insulting to somebody.
Yeah, no, I think it's a cool game. I think it's cool that Activision is doing a niche game. I'm glad they're taking have a popular property and not doing the. It's kind of like having Tron in Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah,
It's it's not necessarily the smart thing to do, but
but
it's definitely
there's an audience that wants it.
yeah, exactly. And it's not like they're not. It's not like a AAA game by any. I mean, it's a platinum game that it's like a third party. It's a platinum game being funded by somebody else, which means it's going to be a very small platinum game.
Yep.
Um, and the only other reference we really have is Legend of Korra. So I'm kind of thinking this is probably going to be B Team Platinum. So um,
Well, I mean, they've got a lot of stuff that they're working on too right now. So I mean,
yeah,
you're spreading yourself kind of thin when you think about it, because they got this, they've got Scalebound. They were working on Star Fox.
but yeah, no, I think they're really yeah. But I don't know. They seem to get these games going. Like I don't know whatever Platinum's doing, but they're really good at churning out games like on a really and
Oh yeah.
they do decent games. Like even their worst games, like okay, like they're
I,
not.
I say I don't think I've ever played a Platinum game and gone, man, I'm disappointed by that.
Yeah, they're just like oh, like the worst thing you'd say is like that was good. That was above average.
Hmm.
So,
Yep.
but yeah, so I think it's kind of cool. I'm not super into Transformers. Like if they announced a Beast Wars game on their hand, then I'd be like, oh my god.
I don't
Because
quite think there's as big of an audience for Beast Wars as there is
I
for
think
Trans,
there's a huge unspoken audience for Beast Wars.
and that's the problem. Unspoken. Nobody said shit, and they're not just gonna go. I'll bet there's people who want this, but just won't say anything about it.
Hmm.
Too
That's true.
ashamed to be.
Bring back Cheetor. Um, a lot of really light, kind of small news. This is kind of cool. Mafia 3 is coming. And basically the way we know it is because Take Two, they sort of registered a bunch of domain names for URLs. So it's basically like Mafia 3 game, Mafia 3 game, Mafia 3, Mafia 3 Take Two. It's just a bunch of basically they're going to announce Mafia 3 really, really effing soon. And I'm excited, but really hesitant because I know that this Mafia 3 specifically has been rebooted like twice.
Yeah, I feel like this is a game that you hear something about every, not necessarily 6 months, but at least once a year for like the
Hmm.
past 3 or 4 years. There's been something said about this game, which
Yeah,
is
like
always kind of a point to hesitate on when it's, oh yeah, it's coming. Nothing for that long.
yeah, and it's never and it's like sometimes it's like officially announced and sometimes it's like not from an official source.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. I really, really, really loved Mafia 2. It was one of my favorite games last gen. I actually think it's like one. Actually, I think it has definitely one of the better third person shooters. I think Max Payne 3 is probably the best third person shooter last gen, but I think like this one is not really set in the same breath as Gears of War and stuff, but it definitely should. I really loved how enemies went down quick and you went down really quick too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited for Mafia 3. One of the things I am a little bit worried about is I know that this project used to be like a free to play open world game,
Yep.
and that is effing terrifying.
I don't feel
And
like I feel like that has to be because that was a couple years ago that that came out. So I feel like
yeah,
at this point they have to have moved on from that.
I hope. I don't know.
I mean, if you, I just Mafia 2 was so good and did
Hmm.
so many things so well. It would just kill me if it was like, oh yeah, free to play and
Kind
just
of like what they do
no.
with Sleeping Dogs. Yeah, the one thing about Mafia 2 though is like as much as I love it, it felt really unfinished, but the parts that were there were done really, really well. Like there's a lot of stuff that's like obviously missing story sequence. The story sequences are really interesting, but they tie together horribly. It doesn't
Yeah,
make any sense. Like I haven't played the game in a long time, but I just remember that's like a huge sticking point for me. I was like, this game feels really unfinished, but it kind of like okay, it kind of felt like okay, we're gonna cut our losses and just do like the parts we have done really, really, really well.
yeah,
Um, and I kind of feel like that the team is really, really talented. So I'm hoping they have enough time. I mean, they've had a few years. So I'm hoping Mafia 3 is like, okay, we have the time. Now let's
yep.
make everything awesome.
Oh yeah.
What
And I mean,
time period? What? Yeah.
if you can totally get that Grand Theft Auto feel, but set in this environment and set in this
Hmm.
world, I mean, that game would be so cool.
Well, actually, I like that Mafia 2 didn't necessarily feel like Grand Theft Auto. I like that it was classy. Well, it wasn't classy, but it was
Well,
classier.
but I feel like that's a part of the setting. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
Grand
that's
Theft
true.
Auto, the setting is always a little skeezy.
And weird and goofy and like
Yeah.
exaggerated.
Whereas
Yeah,
this is just straight up. You know what? You're a classy gangster. You wear a suit. You
yeah,
none of this like you know nonsense that Grand Theft Auto has. This
Mhm.
is like straight up Al Capone.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of which time period do you want it to be in? I think the last one's in the 50s, I think, because he gets back from the war.
Yep, yep. It was right after World War II. I don't know. I don't not modern.
Yeah,
I
I
feel
guess
like
that's a good
that
point.
would be a mistake. I think anything like pre 1980s, I think would be good, just because I feel like as soon as you get to 80s, you start getting into some Grand Theft Auto territory.
Well, I think the
When you think
80s would
about like
actually be, but think about like 80s casinos, like that I would love,
that's true,
and
but
Goodfellas and stuff.
I feel like that's kind of been done because Vice City had some of that in it, if I remember correctly. I mean, granted, that was what like 13 years ago
Yeah, and
now,
like I
but
was trying to think of like the other 80s game would probably be like Hotline Miami.
yeah. Which I mean, I feel like this is going to have a little bit different feeling than Hotline Miami.
Yeah. Hopefully. Again, I don't know. Games keep getting more and more violent and super dark. I'm really hoping it doesn't do that with like all these other games that are doing. Um. Halo 5. I don't know why we keep talking about Halo 5, even though neither of us particularly care. But this
This
has got.
actually, this is like the first thing I've heard that I was like, yes, okay, now I'm back on the Halo. And granted, it's not a very big thing, so it doesn't
No,
necessarily.
but
It's more one of those things that's just kind of cool.
well, it's cool, but okay. We gotta say what it is. So all the pre-order bonuses will be available to unlock in game, which was a thing that people actually used to do.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like 3 or 4 years ago, it
Yeah,
was like, yeah, you can get this from pre-ordering from GameStop, or just when you hit level 40, it'll unlock.
yeah. They did that with. I know they did it with the new Twisted Metal game. The newest Twisted Metal game. Like, oh, you can unlock Axel, but you unlocked Axel in the game anyway. It just
Yep.
took a while.
Yeah.
Um, so I mean, it's cool that they're going back to practices we used to think sucked 4 years ago, but they suck so much now that this seems like goodwill.
But see, that's the thing is like it got so bad that just the fact that you can go, you know what, you don't need to buy this, you don't need to do whatever. I mean, because now most of the time it is, oh, you can pre-order from GameStop and get it for free, or you can give us $5 later.
Yeah, actually, I mean, kind of the reason I got Arkham Knight was because of the DLC.
Well, I mean, you're smart to do that, and I've done that several times where I'll go and like pre-order a game, like it comes out on Tuesday, so I'll like pre-order it online on Monday night,
Yeah, that's
just so I
actually what
can
I did.
get my codes and move on.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I mean, I think it's cool, but I still think this is probably the best way to do pre-order incentives. I actually don't. Actually, the one thing I don't care if you also do like cosmetic stuff. I think that's okay too. Like Batman costumes. I was like, okay,
oh
that's fine. Batman costumes are fine. Although when you like play as Harley Quinn in the Red Hood, I was like, those are like major characters.
yeah, I
Like,
don't. The thing I don't like is, and I think Ubisoft did this with one of their games. I'm thinking it was Watch Dogs, but I don't remember. Where it's each retailer has a specific cosmetic thing, so there's
oh
no
god,
possible way. Like, I'm fine if you go, you know what, you can get all this cosmetic stuff if you pre-order it, and that's the only way. And no matter where you pre-order, you get it from. But it just seems kind of shitty to go like, oh, well, you can only get this costume if you pre-order from Best Buy, and this
yeah.
just there's so many people who want that
Ark
content.
Arkham was really bad about it. Watch Dogs was the worst about it. There's like a really expansive Excel sheet to
Oh
explain where to get like Watch Dogs pre-order DLC.
yeah, yeah. But
Yeah.
good on Halo 5. I mean, even if it's going back to a formerly shitty practice that now sounds like they're like amazing, I still
Hmm.
think it's the way to do pre-order bonuses because there's just people who are not going to pre-order games. I don't pre-order games. I don't understand the idea of pre-ordering something that's not done, but
Yeah, but you say that, but like, what games are you going to pre-order in the upcoming future? Don't say none, because that's a lie.
there won't be. If I pre-order any games, it will be the Monday night thing where it'll just be, all right, reviews are already out for this. I
I
know
see
it
what
is
you're
what it
saying. Like
is.
before
Yeah,
reviews it. Okay.
yeah. Like to me, like right now, I'm not going to go and put down money for Doom 4.
Okay.
I'm not going to. Now, if that game comes out May 15th and May 14th, there's some pre-order DLC, then I might. But
Yeah.
I just don't understand the idea of paying for something that's not even finished.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I don't think they care. Like once they get their final numbers in.
Exactly.
So
And
like, you still pre-ordered it. They still
yeah,
got you.
but see, but again, to me, my thing is I look back like Aliens Colonial Marines from years ago.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I don't know if there was a review embargo on that game or not, but the closer you get to launch, the more you actually know about something.
Mhm.
Right now, all we know about Doom 4 is that 20-minute slice of game that we saw.
That's true.
A
Okay.
year from now, a year from now, the full copy will be out. But next January, you know what I mean? We'll have seen
Mhm.
hours of gameplay probably.
Yeah, okay, I can see what you're saying. Yeah, no, I can understand that. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't think, and I personally do, actually I think I've pretty much sworn off $60 games forever now because I feel so burnt on Arkham Knight. Actually, I say that, but actually no. My $60 rule will hold. I said I pre-ordered Kingdom Hearts 3 without knowing anything about it, but I pre-ordered it for $40 because of some sort of pricing error. So so I will hold to my I will never spend $60 on a game. I do plan on day oneing a few games, uh, Abzu and Rhyme,
Those won't be
and maybe No
$60
Man's
games.
Sky.
Those won't be
Uh,
$60. Well, No
yeah,
Man's Sky might, but
I don't think I think No Man's Sky is gonna be like 40. I think that'd be a good. I think everybody would agree 40 is like a pretty decent price point for that.
yeah, but they've been pumping it so much that I could see it
Yeah.
just because of the publicity machine behind it at this point.
hmm Oh, this is a quick news item. That's actually not on our list. They revealed the box art for No Man's Sky.
Oh, it's so pretty.
It's so classy. I was surprised. I feel like a lot of I don't know. The box art is like, I don't know, just guy. Batman is like it's like Batman on the cover, like wings spread, and the Batmobile's there, and it's like Batman Arkham Knight. It's just kind of like, ugh. But this one actually looks like those like kind of the classy 1960s space like sci-fi drawings.
So good. And again, as I've said before, everything about that game is good, down to the picture on the cover.
I'm gonna be super interested once we actually get it, and
I'm gonna be
we're gonna be
super
talking
pissed if it
about
sucks.
it. I don't think it's gonna suck. I think it's just gonna be a lot different than what you think it is. And I
It'll
don't.
be awesome.
I kind of understand. I think you have a better handle on it than most people because like, what do you do in this game? It's like, yeah, that's not the point.
Nothing. You don't do nothing, and I don't want to do anything.
Yeah, it's like Journey. It's like, what do you do in Journey? It's like, well, you walk around, but that's not the game. Like, this is the
And
play.
you get to the end, and when you get to the end, you climb this
Yeah,
mountain.
yeah,
And then the game
exactly.
restarts.
Hey, spoilers. No, I'm just kidding.
Whatever.
Although, if you haven't played Journey now, then I don't know. You should be.
Yeah.
If you haven't played Journey, just play Journey. That's barely a spoiler.
Yeah.
Um, I guess our last. I don't even know if we would talk about last news story too much. Arkham Knight PC is like crap,
Yeah, like, so bad they pulled it from Steam.
which I think was a super classy move.
I do have to say, as shitty as it is to actually put that out, it's very nice that they were like, you know what, we're going to make people stop buying this now that we got the initial wave of people to put down their money.
I think that's exactly what happened. I think they're prepared to do this because
Although,
there's
the
no way
thing.
QA didn't know about it.
Oh, yeah, that's totally true. But the thing is, now Steam has their refund policy.
hmm
So, I mean, I'm sure, yeah, they probably made a bucket load off of the shitty version of it. But,
Oh, that's
at
true.
least smart people and people who know what's going on at least were able to go back to Steam and go, hey, refund.
Yeah, but I mean, I think people are used to like playing PC games, just waiting for the PC for the patch, which is one of the
Yeah.
reasons I actually kind of got. I was actually into PC gaming pretty heavily for like 2 years, about 2 years ago, I guess now. Um, but I kind of it was before I got my PS4 and my PS3 actually. I I didn't like that I felt like almost every single game I play had some sort of issues with it, and that I have to Google online and then go fix in some sort of text file or something like that. Like all these games have, it's like it's so commonplace now with PC games. Like once you get them running, they're awesome. But to actually get every game has its own little problems. It needs its own little patches. And like if you day one a PC game, like there's gonna be a million patches. People love to talk about, oh, The Witcher 1 and Witcher 2 are such good games. They're such good games because they have like 40 gigabytes of patches.
Yeah.
Like they got like the game that you play now, Witcher 1 or Witcher 2 or even Witcher 3 now is getting like more and more patches. Is like it's not the game that came out on release. It's not even close.
But see, that's the thing is consoles are slowly changing over that way too. I know you mentioned it with Wolfenstein that you tried
hmm
playing that pre-patch and it was way worse than when after you downloaded the day one patch.
Yeah, I think it might also because the first level in that game is just terrible. But
That's also true.
but yeah, no, there's like a lot of missing graphical effects and stuff. And I think that this is like Arkham Knight too. When I put Arkham Knight, there was a 20 gig patch, something. I don't know, some it took like 5 hours to download.
Yeah,
Uh,
the Drive Club PS Plus one had one too. Granted, that game's been out full retail for a year now, so
Yeah,
it's
I
probably
think
just
a lot
catching
of that
up.
stuff is
But
just the DLC is already like built into it or two or something. I don't
yeah,
know. But either way, I don't like this. I think that like people are basically saying, "Oh, good on them for taking it back," because practices have been so shitty for the past like 10 years that this is now okay. It's like no, it shouldn't have been released at all. It should have been delayed.
Yeah, and somebody at Warner Brothers played this game before it went up on Steam,
Hmm.
and not just somebody, but probably dozens, if not hundreds, of people played this before it went up,
Yeah,
and everybody basically ignored them and said, put it up anyway, put it up anyway, put it up anyway."
I think the one of the more interesting parts of this is that Iron Galaxy, they're a guy who are notorious for doing bad ports. They did this, but now actually Rocksteady took over the port. I don't know if
Oh,
you
they
know that.
did?
Yeah,
No, I
like
knew
it,
I knew that they ported it, but I didn't know that Rocksteady took over it now.
yeah, Rocksteady like took over full responsibility for it, and they're actually gonna be the ones fixing it. So
Jeez.
yeah, yeah,
Even video game designers have to pick up after shitty employees.
yeah. I actually Iron Galaxy I think is gonna get in a lot of trouble because I think they also did the recent Street Fighter 4 PS4 port that was horrible
Oh
before
gosh.
pre-patch. Oh man, I think they're actually I can't imagine why they wouldn't go out of business because when you got stuff like Blue Point and Hexadrive who do
Yeah.
amazing ones like the Metal Gear Solid Collection, the Okami HD, and the
Mhm.
Shadow Colossus one. I think those guys actually they cost a bit of money because they know what they're doing.
Yeah. But it's cheap and yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Video games suck now. I'm just kidding. All that. No, the
Totally.
video
Video
games
games
are
are
great
horrible and I
now.
hate them.
I think video games now are actually better than they have ever been before. I think that not even business practices are better. They're better than they used to be, like in the '80s and stuff like that. I don't know. Games are just at a weird point right now that's either going to make or break gaming in general. Although I feel like we've been like this for the past like 10 years. Like this whole past generation has been like this is like when the DLC first came on the scene, and
Yep.
we're just kind of growing from that.
Mhm. All right, everyone. Thank you for listening to the first ever Darksliders news update. Hopefully, you like the news formula. If you don't, let us know. Let us know on Twitter, Darksliders_pod. Comment on the video or podcast, wherever you happen to be listening. We check all of them. Let us know. We might go back to the old way. We might keep it this way, depending how the week goes. But this week we'll have more content coming out regularly. So tomorrow, Wednesday, we'll have Doug's review of Arkham Knight. Thursday, we talked a little bit about Ico, so we're going to put that conversation up. It's a great game to talk about with all the news coming out about The Last Guardian. Finally, Friday, if you want the full-length podcast, that will be up on Friday. The whole thing, just like normal, with these chunks in it and some extra stuff that we didn't necessarily cut out and put into its own single piece for this week. Specifically, we've got some stuff on Drive Club and a couple other things as well. Thank you all for listening.